Here we are with teaser video number 4, another straightforward video with a leprechaun, jackhammer, and a bunch of E85 balls. And we get this new number of 2538 PSI, and that's it. That's the video. But what if I told you there's more to this video than meets the eye? That the 2538 PSI could be a clue confirming the Hellephant that I've been claiming since 2021, and that if you look closely at the E85 balls, you can make out some subtle hints that Dodge is hiding about this 7th final edition. So let's jump right in and address the Hellephant in the room. 2 years ago, I dropped this video in 2021. Data source within Dodge was telling me that they were working to put a Hellephant, maybe a detuned version, in a car by 2023 before emissions tighten up. Now 2 years later, 4 new Hellephants and 4 teaser videos later, it looks like we have further confirmation there will be a Hellephant in the 7th final edition, and I'll go into this PSI number and the significance in just a moment. But this video has our golden leprechaun using a jackhammer on some E85 spears or balls or whatever you want to call this. But one thing I noticed about this particular video is the lopey sound that the jackhammer is making while it's breaking down the E85. To me, there is no way Carb will allow Dodge to get away with having a car sound like this. So that supports what I've been saying in the last few videos about a new version of the Demon Crate with a new ECM and tune. It also has me thinking about how this car will be a direct connection kit car. None of the stuff that Dodge has done so far justifies them making power brokers, especially with the feds won't allow Dodge to release stage kits. I mean, Carb won't even allow Dodge to even come out with a pre-stage kit, and the only thing is in there, it's just a programmer, a thermostat, and an air filter. So if they won't allow Dodge to bring out a freaking controller, there is no way they'll allow Dodge to slide with a street legal car sound like it has a lopey idol drinking E85. Because another thing about E85 is, it is proven that it's worse for the environment compared to pump gas. So for sure, I see a second coming of the Demon Crate and maybe a new ECM controller in it. If you look at the name of this video, Hemi Vice, we can see the definition means moral depravity or corruption. So maybe this second ECU is this car's vice. Or this video could be a clue to why Dodge claimed it blew several engines, hence the name Vice also means moral fault or a physical imperfection. But I still maintain that Carb would not allow Dodge to release his car earlier, so Dodge had to stall, claim they blew several engines, and in the background, they was finally able to get the 7th edition and the stage kits to pass. Because I still fully expect the stage kits gonna probably get revealed in the next couple weeks, or maybe even at the show itself. But going back to the video, the next shot we see is a close-up of the internals. So we know for sure that a V8 is in the final edition, and Dodge not trying to sneak in an electric drivetrain or one of those inline 6 hurry crates. Next we get the 2538 PSI on the jackhammer. This number appears to be related to the engine, and with its teaser showing us the cylinders, it made me go find the cylinder pressure of the Demon, which is 135 bar, but bar is easily convertible to PSI, and that converts to 1958 PSI. So it is possible that the new C170 Hellephant has about a 2538 max PSI cylinder pressure, which would be around roughly a 23% increase over a Demon. I looked up how much the cylinder pressure increased between the regular 6.2 Hemi to the 6.2 high output, which is basically the Hellcat to the Demon read out of superstock engines. And it looked like it went from 1600 PSI to 1958 PSI, or roughly a 22% improvement over the previous engine. Now looking at the stats for the C170 Hellephant, it'll get valve train upgrades, enlarged mains and head studs, billet main caps, upgraded bearings, pistons, and connector rods that should play a role in increasing cylinder pressure. But since I figured this car will be improvement over the Demon, I thought, what if I applied a 23% cylinder pressure increase to the horsepower rating of the Demon and see if it will line up with the horsepower rating of one of the Hellephant engines. So the math of 23% more horsepower compared to the Demon, and I used both its 808 and 840 horsepower ratings, lines up to around 994 horsepower and 1033 horsepower, which lines up perfectly for the C30 and C170 Hellephant horsepower ranges. Without E85, the Hellephant C30 engine should make 900-ish horsepower. I think Dodge intentionally didn't tell us exactly how much horsepower the C30 would make because the engine would be the 7th final edition. Dodge originally intended to introduce the Hellephants and the 7th edition at the same time as SEMA, but the 7th edition couldn't be shown, hence the C30 Hellephant specs not telling us how much horsepower it has compared to the A30 version without E85. So my prediction is that Dodge will claim that the 7th final edition will make 909 horsepower, basically do like a play on the Demon's 808 horsepower. And I can't help but think that Dodge will make a play on 999 horsepower for the E85 tune, take a Demon's 666 and turn it upside down, make it 999. But of course, based on the math, it could go higher and Dodge could just rate the engine lower. I have a bad feeling that Dodge could be saving the 1,000 horsepower production car crown for the Charter Daytona EV, but I really cross my fingers and I'm really wrong about this, and I hope that's not the case. But I do kind of have a good feeling that the 1FAT29 license plate can also mean 1,029 horsepower, especially since I did the 23% on top of the Demon's 840 horsepower rating. It got that 133 horsepower. And as I said in my previous videos, there are multiple ways to interpret these numbers to fit different narratives. And for my narrative, Alone Dodge uses the Demon as a base and use speed core carbon fiber panels to bring the weight down some more. They only need like 1,000-ish horsepower to make a 9-second car on E85 tune. But based on all these teasers, I think 100% we'll probably see a 909 horsepower car on pump gas. Then the E85 tune, I'll say if it's not 999 horsepower, it'll probably be 1,029 horsepower, and that way it'll fit with the license plate that we saw back in Speed Week. But hopefully the final teaser confirms more information that there is no doubt that the C170 Hellephant is in this car, and we'll know for a fact the non-E85 version will be in the 900 horsepower range, and the E85 tune will be somewhere in the 1,000+ horsepower range. But now that we got all that out of the way, let's look into these E85 spears or balls, whatever you want to call them. They give you some interesting clues that I think some people are glossed over. I pointed out in my other videos covering these teasers that Dodge had left subtle hints in all of them. In the first one, you see the small leprechaun wearing a plaid shirt with electricity shooting out of his eyes. I believe Dodge used that as the first clue that they were targeting a Tesla Model S Plaid with a low 9-second E85 monster, hence the name of the video, Running and Hiding, probably telling Tesla owners they need to hide once the 7th edition finally comes out. Then in the second video, I see Dodge throwing a hint that the suspension will do a weight transfer with the shocks on the scales. I've also said in that video that I see the 7.1 pounds being an additional boost over the red-eye supercharger to get the Hellephants around 21 pounds of boost. Now that is a very big possibility that is correct, because Dodge did tease 24 pounds of boost in their pre-stage controller. Now I know people got other ideas about it being E85 weight, but I don't know if people are exactly getting the weight difference between E85 and gasoline. Nowhere I can find online where anyone gives you the exact weight of gas, let alone E85. But as I said in my last video, there are multiple ways to manipulate the numbers and come up with different answers. And we won't know the truth until Dodge tell us. And I'll say to some of these other YouTubers, wait until the facts come out until some of y'all claim that people are wrong. Have a little more class than trying to chase views. Just saying. The third teaser, I'm still looking for a hidden meaning in that video, but I do see what look like to be an impact gun on the wall in the background. So maybe that's another clue that's gonna get a new demon box. And this golden leprechaun look like he has some kind of upside down Om symbol on his hat for some reason. I swear every couple of videos, that symbol on his hat or charm, whatever you wanna call it, it changes almost every video. Now for the fourth teaser, I see a bunch of stuff in this particular video. Now when you watch the video slow down, it looks like you can see like a skinny tire and a thick tire moving across the balls at the very bottom. So maybe this is just showing us that we're gonna get a new set of wheels, a thick tire and a thin tire for like its drag mode. I know the last teaser said it screamed at 215 miles per hour, but remember I did show you a clip that there was a demon that reached at 211 miles per hour on 840 horsepower. So it's not like these cars can't get to 215 with a drag suspension. Next, we see this chrome looking circle inside of this ball, and it could be one of two things. One thing it looks like is a Charger Hellcat's exhaust tip. Now last year I said that one of my sources was telling me that there was a 900 horsepower Charger that was tested in Michigan. Now they knew it was 900 horsepower because in the performance pages of that mule, I think it said 909 horsepower in the performance pages. I haven't heard about this car in a year, but Dodge did tease a Charger Super Stock almost 2 years ago, going down a drag strip with Hellcat badges at the end of one of their videos. Now, I don't know if Dodge scrapped that particular car because the only drag suspension Charger that we got was a Super B Final Edition. And I find it odd that Dodge paid tribute to the King Daytona Charger, which was a drag strip car, and didn't use any drag suspension that they spent R&D dollars on with the Super B Final Edition. Plus, I'm already suspicious of the low number of Charger Red Eye allocations in 2023 that I talked about in this video right here. The second thing could be it's just a pass-through headlight that all the Challenger Hellcats and above come with. I swear in this ball right here, it's like there's someone sitting in a car. Then directly below it, it's hard to make it out for sure, but like there's some kind of button or maybe some kind of dial. Then in this ball right here, it's like there's really like a red eye in this ball. As for the rest of the balls, it's hard to make some of them out. These videos aren't exactly high resolution as the Demon teaser videos were. These teasers like they were thrown together at the last minute, and I'm not convinced that the Leprechaun has anything to do with 7th edition, other than the fact this car will be shown in March. The event is now only a couple days away, and I was going to go to it, but I didn't feel like flying to Vegas to see a car that I know I'll never see again, unless I go take a tour at a dealership, maybe like Rick Hendrick's private collection. I would love to see how Dodge think dealers won't jack up the price of the particular car, especially if it has like the moniker being the fastest production car with a gas engine that can smoke a Tesla Model S Plaid. Because what is Dodge going to do to punish dealers? Are they going to tell dealers that they're going to limit them getting allocations for the Charger Daytona EV? That they're already trying to get dealers who don't want to invest millions of dollars to install charging stations for? Or are they going to limit allocations for Hurricane 6 Challengers and Chargers for 2024? Or are they going to take allocations away for the Alfa Romeo Hornet from dealers? I don't see Dodge having any leverage over any of these dealers, especially when all these last call red eyes and super stocks are near impossible to find anywhere near MSRP. But I'll be watching the live stream next Monday with great interest because I hope Dodge will also announce stage kits along with the 7th edition and hopefully some kind of direct connection to a Power Brokers kit for some of us to turn our last call red eyes, super stocks, and Hellcats into a version of the 7th edition. But that's it for this video, guys. Let me know what you think about the cryptic message in this video and some of the other hidden things I found in these E85 balls. But if you found this video helpful, make sure you leave it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Grab some last call merch on the way out. And until the next time, I'm out.